This is NTV. This is NTV.
tubaniriza nnyo ku NTV olunaku lwa mukaaga ennaku z'omwezi 14 NTV ku ssaawa emu nange Farida Nakazibwe nga tusinziira wano ku Serena Conference Center okuweereza. Olwaliro tukutegekedde bingi omuli n'abatuuze abeekalakaasizza ne boonoona mmotoka za KCCA oluvannyuma lw'emukuzo okutomera mutuuze munnaabwe ne mumenya omukono. Tova ku NTV tuke tufune emitwe mikulu tukomewo n'amawulire mu bujjuvu. Ekimotoka kya kasasiro kitomedde omuntu ekiteezi, abantu beegugunze, motoka za KCCA zoononeddwa. Poliisi ekutte agambibwa okkuba omwana n'amutta emitiyana. Abakulira abakozi batabukidde NRM ku ky'okusibwa kw'omubaka Samuel Omoki bawadde ensalessale wa Lwakubiri. Songa mu mizannyo Titus Tugume akubye Malik Kalisa kati ayagala kuzannya n'abebweru wa Uganda. Eddakiika kuyiseko bbiri zokka NTV ku ssaawa emu. Tutandise n'abatuuze b'ekiteezi ku luguudo oludda e Gayaza abavudde mu mbeera ne bayonoona mmotoka za KCCA 10 Damba. Kino kiddiridde ekimotoka ekisomba kasasiro okutomera omugoba wa bodaboda ne kimumenya omukono. Abantu basatu nga bakozi
a tendency of relaxing, so we had to make it a point to go to these places, carry out spot checks, and make sure that they are alert.
Tufuba okulaba nti tuba tucheckinga ekisooka emmotoka okusookera ddala ku mulyango nti bwe tukozesa poliisi bacheckinga emmotoka buli kintu kyonna bwe babeeramu abantu ne bavaamu ate ne bajja munda ne tukolako body detecting kubanga tulina machines ezidetecting abantu. Kati ne bags ebyo tufuba okulaba nti tuyingiza bintu heavy oba computer omuntu agira nebyo tulina bwe tubitereka oba emmundu.
Eddakiika ziri 11 eziyise ku ssaawa emu webale nnyo kubeera naffe kaseera tumbulemu katono ddala tovaawo tugenda kudda n'ekitundu ekyokubiri bino bye bimu ku bikirimu. Ebuduuda abaana abasoba mu bisatu tebakyasoma lwa ssomero lyabwe kuggalwawo. Songa emitiyana poliisi etaasizza abbi endiga.
This is NTV. This is NTV. This is NTV.
Ideally, we all have the right to express our opinions and views truthfully and openly.
Atele loan tugenda Katongole Mbukasam.
Kampala the discussion is still going on in the bus.
Tulina okugumira challenges ezimu bwe tuba tulina okugoba abatembeeyi mwami lukwaga agumaga abatembeeyi mugende mbadde ngala kunyonyola omwami yagambye nti meya lukwago ye meya omutuufu.
Gavumenti ekutte lukwago emunyigira mu nsonga takyekyusa.
Welcome back to Minibus.
Teko musajja abankwana nga njagala sifa ku kya ssente. Obulafa ku mbeera ye
alimba ono
This is Minibuzz. Chogereko.
Kwene embeera y'abasajja bano
essuubi nga lyakuggwamu mama.
Bano abasajja abanaatera n'okujja kusigiriza ffe ekiro basituleko emiwumbo gy'emmere bagitwale.
Sogera byange kibanda bana bagamba nga bagamba ne bwagala nkubulira ebyange jatugende emyanzi
mpulira banyumya babeera South Africa baba bakujerega obituufu
Baba banjerega.
oyo mufere mubbi yennyini yeetaaga miggo
Omuntu wa bulijjo tomuzannyirangako abeera nga dormant volcano.
bwemba mukkiriza nina takuwa mugiyita
ate takuwa gobeera mugoberezi tolowooza ndi buli mulimo oyogerera omusiraamu singa naakubuuza nti Katonda yagamba atya
oba oli pasita ng'okyawa olimba obba oyenda olina abakazi basatu please heaven is waiting for you one day you'll pay and soon your time is out
otiisatiisa mmoni
sitiisatiisa nkubuulira yesu talimba
ebintu mbimala mulundi gumu kati what I love peace.
Fieldwork has been defined by different scholars. Some think it is an art.
These are the blood types that are in human beings. We have A.
When a chemical reaction takes place, it involves two things.
We are given a straight line that has been denoted by 2x minus y is equal to 6.
It's party time every day at 4:30 p.m.
abatwala duda bali mu bweraliikirivu olw'abaana abatasoma oluvannyuma lw'ettaka eryayiggulukuka. Waliwo essomero lya primary eryaggalwawo mu kifo awaagwa ekibambulira kino wiiki 3 emabega nga n'okutuusa kati tewali magezi gaasaliddwa okulaba nti abaana bano abasoba mu 305 baddamu okusoma.
Bumaraha Primary School mu kitundu ky'Ebunakasala lirinaanye ekifo ekirimu ennyafa ku lusozi Masaba. Abaofiisi ya Ssaabaminisita basalawo okuggala essomero lino nga batya nti singa ettaka liddamu okuyigulukuka abaana bangi bandikosebwa. Amasomero amalala abaana ge bayinza okweyuna geesudde akabanga kanene nnyo okuva lino we lisangibwa. Essomero lino lyalimu abaana 394 wabula okuva olwo bataaya butaaya ku kyalo ekintu ekiraliikiriza abatuuze.
Anavuna kumutawano babana bana kukupana bayo bakupa ose babandi bakupa ali kwa wala shiro kamalizo ma yokobolewo ngofiro tsofirewo
mbonga yengururo yakhalakana nga khoyapira khankwa kala khoyembera kholi mbondi naira
ng'ojjako okufiira bannaabo abalala bali mu kusoma. Abaana bano balina okusomoozebwa omulina okukema okukola ebyo batandikoze nga bali mu masomero.
Already a problem because as we talk now they are loitering around in markets everywhere, theft, thuggery, an idle mind is actually a center of the devil, and therefore once these people are left in the villages there they are becoming a problem.
Kati ab'obuyinza bali mu kutuula bufofofu okusalira ekizibu kino amagezi.
It is therefore our wish that the government of Uganda and the Ministry of Education immediately provides temporary structures where we can house these pupils and teachers so that there is continuity with the other government programs.
Olukiiko lwa district luteekateeka okutuula ku Lwokutaano lwa wiiki egenda okutandika basalewo ekyenkomeredde ku ky'okukolera abaana abafiiriddwa okusoma.
Tukyagenda maaso ne NTV ku ssaawa emu. Abatuuze mu bitundu by'Emityana ebyokulunda banaatera okubivaako olw'ababbi b'ebisolo babasuseeko mu kitundu ekyo. Abatuuze beemulugunyiza ku bavubuka batayagala kukola nga balabiriza ensolo za bannaabwe era olukulamu bwezitibbo nga bazibba.
Omuvubuka ono Ibra Sentongo nga mutuuze w'ekiwawu ekisangibwa mu ggombolola y'e Malangala Emityana, poliisi yamuwonyezza okugajambulwa abatuuze b'ekiwawu bwe yasangiddwa n'ennyama y'endiga gye yabadde afumbye nga kiteeberezebwa y'endiga ya mulirwanaawe eyabbiddwa ku muguwa ku ssaawa nga 2 ez'ekiro. Abaalabye Sentongo nga yeejaga afumba ennyama eno be babbidde ku nnyini ndiga Twerije Francis nga yandibeeyiye.
Geno tufunyeyo ennyama etali ntuufu ono zajja akulungutana nayo.
naye mubuliriza biddwa akali yabbibwa kiro ate ffe twabitegedde kiro saawa nga nnya naye nga twanoonyeza ne tubulwa nti tugenza okutuukayo ng'era ennyama ali nayo.
Kigambibwa nti ono si gwe mulundi ogusoose ng'akwatibwa mu bubbi obw'ebisolo. Abatuuze bagamba nti abadde yakava mu kkomera ku gwa kubba mbizi 2.
Bakamukwata emirundi nga 10 abba bubbi bukoko bubizi ate musajja musiraamu. Kati omubbi gwe okuddayo okukwata omubbi kumutta busi.
Ku poliisi y'emu Karim Semaganda nga mutuuze w'ekikandwa era nga muvuzi we bodaboda emitiyana naye yaggaliddwa ng'ono abapoliisi bennyini be baamwekwatidde ng'awalabana n'embuzi ku bodaboda bwe babadde bali mu kulawuna ekiro.
Sibukolangako mbadde muvuzi w'emmotoka n'epikipiki negipangisiza nga ntwala omulwadde wange kasaana kati nuyina musanze busanzi n'embuzi ze ku kkubo bw'ati kuligenda wano emaggwa wali ugindi ebinikira.
Era tulina wano omu yadduse kati tugenda mutwala Embubende.
Nnyini mbuzi bino olwamugudde mu kutu kwe kuleeta omwana gwayo ogwabadde gulekeddwa emabega era bwe katuuse ku poliisi nga kadda ku nnyina waako nga keeyonkera.
Akaana nze nzize nako kubanga akaana kabadde kasuze mu nju.
Abatuuze mu bitundu bino beekokkodde obubbi bw'ebisolo obususse nga kiringa nti babalemesa kulunda so nga ge gamu ku makubo mwe babadde bayita okwebeezaawo.
Olwaleero Ssenkulu wa People's Progressive Party Japeri Bidandisali yasiibuddwa okuva mu ddwaliro lya IHK. Bidandisali yaddusibwayo ku Lwokubiri lwa Ssabbiiti eno oluvannyuma lw'okuzirika. Alambuddwa bannabyabufuzi ombadde Captain Mike Mukula ne Minisita w'ebyamawulire Mary Karoro Okrod.
Sajja wange aluwa Isa. Nadi kulikayo. Sajja wange Isa.
Isa yanayo
Romeo. Nali mu kiro ekya bulijjo ne mmala okulya ne nkola bye nkola. Ne mbaako bye nzijukira nenjogera ne munnange mu nnyumba. Kati mba nkyuka okuddayo mu kisenge. Kamungulizo wamanya ennyo nankuba kati saddayo kumanya kikyaddirira akati naye nga ntegeera kugamba akaseera kali kokka bwe nafunira kamunguluze tekisamanya kikyaddirira baŋŋamba bugambi nti nagwa naye bwe baali bansitulawo okuntwala mu motoka nga ntegeera biki ebigenda mu maaso.
Honorable Bidandisali akoze emirimu mingi yakoleko gavumenti eno ate ffe tumusamu ekitiibwa nga elda kubanga yadde yagenda obuludde olulala naye still akyasavinga eggwanga tetulina nsonga naye Honorable Bidandisali muntu wa ddembe.
Era ku bulwadde tetuteekamu byobufuzi era kubanga buli muntu yenna ayinza okulwala obulwadde tebulonda byobufuzi era njagala bannayuganda bonna bangere bamusabire.
Musinga obadde gwe mwafunira omukisa okubaganya ebirowoozo ku miramwa egy'enjawulo. Olwaleero twogeddeko n'abantu abamu ku kye balowooza ku ky'okuwasa oba okufumbirwa omukazi oba omusajja oba omukyalo boogeraageranya n'oyo ow'omu kibuga.
Singa obadde gwe ng'olina omuntu oba otuusizza okufumbirwa katugambe oba okuwasa eyali badde omutuufu tulina kye tubuuza nti omukyalo ow'ekibuga n'ow'ekyalo ani omutuufu okuwasa oba ani omutuufu okufumbirwa waba musajja
ow'omukyalo kubanga ye aba akimanyi buli kimu ekiba kigenda mu maaso
omukyalo mugulira bizigo
newo bimugulira era omumanya nti olwayo zaabuze n'akakkana.
Naye omukazi w'omu kibuga ye mulungi okuwasa olw'ensonga ye embeera yonna abaagiraba bwe ziba ziganye namanya nti ziganye bwe ziba zifunye nemanya nti muzifunye okitegedde ekigambo ekyo. Naye okusinza abagobeera mu kyalo abasinga obungi baagala kulima bulimi baagala kukola biki mu nsonga ng'eyo.
Kisinziira mu maka
oba kitegeeza mwobeera wakulira bwabe mulimu amaka nga ne bwaba musajja ng'ayina empisa nga ne bwaba mwami mukyala nga naye ayina empisa kati kisinziira mu maka mwokola ki mwobeera wakulira ow'ekyalo n'ow'ekibuga bwe babeera bampisa bonna baba beetaaga okuwasibwa.
Mukyala w'ekibuga abeera sirias omwa bizinesi yonna tesobola kufa.
Ab'ekyalo tebakola?
Ab'ekyalo bakola mu bya bulimi ssebo na kulunda naye singa ziba ssente enkalu omukyalo w'ekibuga aba n'enkizo ssebo.
Kisinziira ssebo omusajja kale oba ne waba wa kyalo naye nga mukozi nga tabbe takole kale ebintu biswaza wammwe.
Enamba esinga ey'abakazi mu kibuga tubeera wano bajja nga balina ebizibu ebyabwe. Kati gojja n'obeera ng'oli muvubuka nayagala ofune muno omukazi gw'ofunye alina abaana babiri okwata ssente bw'omuwa awo ng'omanyi agenda zikozesa se ategekera abaana be byazaalawa. Kirungi n'owasa omukazi mu kyalo singa obanga omufunye nga muto.
Omukazi w'omukyalo aba mulungi okuwasa kubanga asinga w'omutawuni omutawuni aba wabizibu musinga na muzigo obulunfuna wonna wonna n'agamba tisina musajja gy'omuntu sewaka ng'alina omuki omusajja oluserezaako n'abaana ng'aleeta abaana ewo bakumenya bumenya baaweta muwadde buki buyambi buzibu abeekeraani abeekera gwe ate omukyalo kyatayinza kukola ki kyatayinza kukola.
Omulamwa gwe tubadde tuteesako gubadde gugamba nti singa obadde otuusiza okuwasa oba okufumbirwa omwami ow'ekyalo oba ow'ekibuga ani yalibadde omutuufu okubeera ng'obeera naye. Endowooza z'abantu bano tuziwulidde ate nate tujja kuddamu nate mwebale nnyo mwena abateesezza nze Dini Lubo wa Ssaawa.
Singa obaddeko ezo ndowooza zammwe abalabi baffe so si ezo z'abakulira oba abakozi ba NTV. Eddakiika ebula 5 zokka okuwera emu n'ekitundu kaseera tuwummulemu katono ddala tovaawo tugenda kudda n'ekitundu eky'ebyemizannyo omuli okulwana kw'ensambagero kwabaddewo akawungeezi k'eggolo tovaawo.
This is NTV.
Mubbi yennyini yeetaaga miggo. Omuntu wa bulijjo tomuzannyirangako abeera nga dormant volcano.
Bwemba mukkiriza nina takuwa mugiyita
ate takuwa gobeera mugoberezi tolowooza ndi muli mulimo oyogerera omusiraamu singa naakubuuza nti Katonda yagamba atya.
Oba oli pasita ng'okyawa olimba obba oyenda olina abakazi basatu. Please, heaven is you'll pay and soon your time is out.
Otiisa mmoni.
Sitiisa nkubuulira Yesu talimba.
Ebintu mbimala mulundi gumu kati what I love this.
Gwokola byo.
Wegase n'omusajja mutwale mabi.
Sawe mu mizannyo olwaleero Titus Tugume yawangudde Malik Kalisa yafunye obuvune amangu ddala ng'empaka z'ensambagere eza super heavyweight zakatandika akawungeezi k'eggulo. Bano babadde balwanira ngule ya ggwanga. Tugume kati agamba nti okuva lwe yawangudde Malik Kalisa kati emirundi ebiri ayagala kulwana n'abo abavudde ebweru w'eggwanga.
Not looked injured, it's a serious injury. The shoulder is go out 4 times, go out. So this is only for luck because Titus was today not strong.
ng'omulwanyi oba osobola okulwana n'omuntu yenna nga bwe nkugambye bwe mala okujjanjaba omukono nga dokita bwaŋŋambye tikinogenda mu operation y'omukono njakomawo mu ring
no ku international level ne belt eya world yona njagireeta wano nsobole okudifendinga bulungi eggwanga lyange tusobole okugenda mu kifo ekisooka mu kickboxing mu nsi yonna.
Mu mpaka za Sekafa eza club empanguzi ezibumbujjira kati ya Tanzania, Atletico ya Burundi ekubye Yanga ya Tanzania golo 2 ku bwereere. Ate yo APR ya Rwanda ewangudde Wau Salam okuva e Sudan golo 7 ku bwereere.
Salamu wadde abawagizi ba Yanga tekirobedde ttiimu ya APR abateezanyiwa abawazamu ba Uganda Cranes ababiri okuli Dani Wagaluka ne Johnson Bagole okwegirisa omupiira oluwedde omutendesi w'abakasi ba ggoolo URS Abituwasi neyewerera abasimba URA begenda okusamba nabo olunaku lw'enkya yakulemesa abawagizi ba Yanga amaanyi
nga balina nabo bawagizi bangi naffe gye tumanyi naffe tujja kuba n'abawagizi kuba they are all two rival teams nti bano Yanga besamba definitely side gye ntudde abasimba bona be bali awo olabira ddala nti bali against the other side naffe enkya kugenda kusamba definitely Yanga ejja kuba ku mabega gaffe kwegamba tuli awo balance olaba.
Tiimu 11 okuva mawanga 9 zezeetabye mu mpaka z'omwaka guno wano mu kisaawe kya Dar es Salaam mu Tanzania naye ng'amawanga nga Sudaani, Eritrea ne Ethiopia go tegakiikiddwa mu mpaka z'omwaka guno kubanga tiimu ezandibadde zijja okukiikirira amawanga gano mu mpaka zino ziriko empaka za kafu zezizanya. Lwa NTV akawungezi wano mu kisaawe kya Dar es Salaam e Tanzania ze Ssaamu Mpoza.
Kusaawa emu kuyiseeko dakiika 30 awo wennyini tetusobola kusukkawo ne bw'okola otya okuggyako baagaliza weekend ennungi mubeere bulungi mweraba.
This is NTV. This is NTV. This is NTV. This is NTV.
Today on Showcase Uganda, we visit Jinja, the city of hidden gems. On your way to Jinja, nestled within Mabira Forest is Mabira Trading Centre. From time immemorial, travellers traversing the Jinja Road have stopped off here, most times beckoned quite energetically by sellers to enjoy the famed Mabira roasted chicken. Besides just offering weary travellers rest, this meal break also offers the opportunity to mingle with the warm and friendly locals, making the experience both exciting and memorable. Mabira Forest, 54 kilometers from Kampala City, is Uganda's largest rainforest and offers visitors a rare tropical experience. A natural forest walk will give you the chance to appreciate the variety of flora and fauna abundant here. The forest is brought to life by the sprawling monkey species that inhabit the forest. For all nature lovers, this walkthrough is a must-do. "87 kilometers out of Kampala, we finally arrive at Uganda's second largest commercial centre, Jinja, which was established in 1901. Located on the shores of Lake Victoria, Jinja lies near the source of the White Nile River. The city is the chief town of Jinja district and is considered the capital of the Busoga Kingdom. Jinja hosts a population of approximately 106,000 people, the majority being of Bantu origin and are English-speaking. The Busoga Kingdom. Located at Bugembe Hill, this is where the Chabazinga, the Katikiro and the Royal Clan Council sit. The Busoga Kingdom has a long and interesting historical perspective that explains the very nature and bond of the cultural institutions found in Uganda. Although, quite unlike the typical monarchies in Africa, the Busoga did not have central authorities at the advent of the coming of British rule, but she had nevertheless developed small principalities, each with its own hereditary rulers. These principalities were later to be consolidated into her central Isebantu Chabazinga, who ruled the Dancing and drumming form the very core of the Busoga tradition and culture. Having been the industrial pulse of Uganda since the 1960s, it is common sight to come across some of Uganda's larger and more successful industries right here in Jinja. The industrial landscape has formed the fabric of Jinja's identity and prosperity, which in turn is a huge part of the tourist appeal of Jinja town. One such attraction open to visitors is witnessing the brewing process of a popular brew. When Showcase Uganda returns, we discover Jinja's gems. Jinja's natural endowment is probably most visible here at the Bujagali waterfalls. The mighty yet stunningly beautiful Bujagali Falls are located 15 minutes from Jinja town, some 10 kilometers below Lake Victoria, and a testament of the natural bliss Uganda offers. The luxurious vegetation covering the riverbanks and island, and the startling diversity of bird life, complemented by the multitude of fish, complete the stunning vista of the Omuga Chira, or the White Nile. Be sure to bring along your camera for some memorable pictures.
Every time when the boat didn't flip off.
More than 4,000 miles in length, the Nile River offers thrilling adventures for visitors of all ages and abilities. The Great Waterway has played a monumental role in history, and it traverses an incredible variety of landscapes and a colourful melody of cultures.
Good morning folks and welcome to the Drifts Whitewater Rafting Experience right here on the banks of the mighty River Nile. Our crews are upstream right now practicing how to hold on, how to flip. But right here, it's Bujagali Falls Class 4. Big lead into a big kicking wave. You're gonna love this. Check it out.
I used to have one too, baby. Oh, come and have a look. I really
Also available is the opportunity to experience the Nile High bungee jump. Touted as being one of the most visually impressive bungee jumps in the world, this experience will get anyone's blood pumping. Kites and fish eagles circle the tower as thrill seekers prepare to plunge 44 meters into the source of the Nile. The Nile High bungee jump has been created using world-leading technology that guarantees challenge. Safety and environmental sustainability are of utmost importance, and the site has been constructed to international standards. So why not take the cue and take the plunge? After the break, we visit Jinja's hotels and hangouts. Perched atop a cliff overlooking the source of Africa's longest river, we find the start and the home for bungee jumping. You can pitch a tent here for as little as $2 per night or 3,600 Uganda shillings. Relax in the bunk dormitories or treat yourself to little more comfort in the well-appointed safari tents. The camp boasts a nicely tiled ablution area and a well-stocked bar within roaring distance of the rapids on the Nile. 5 minutes walk from the campsite is this swimming pool. Camp residents can make use of the beautiful pool for a token amount per day, as well as treat themselves to a buffet meal. Great value meals are served daily at the camp. Enjoy the Mongolian dishes or cook up your own feast, whatever tickles your fancy. Like most other developed towns in Uganda, Jinja is also famed for its variety of This is Jinja's finest discotheque, coupled with its exquisite fittings and impeccable laid-back music creates the perfect atmosphere to unwind and relax. Activity-packed day. On Showcase Uganda, we head east.
This is NTV.
Hello, you are watching Login with me, your girl Robin Kirsty, and yes, like I promised last week, we definitely have more crazy, amazing, sizzling parties. So keep it locked and we'll definitely log you in. You all know who Brenda Nambi is, right? Yes. Oh, this week she definitely brought a bunch of fashionistas together, including Mustafa Hassan Ali, the guru of Swahili Fashion Week here in Kampala. It was definitely beautiful East African fashion, so definitely check it out. The trend of fashion is growing so fast, especially here in Kampala. Importantly, it is spreading all over East Africa due to the demand in the fashion industry. And this weekend, designers from all East African countries teamed up for the good cause of fashion. Mustafa from Tanzania and Brenda Nambi from Uganda are some of the fashionistas that showcased amazing handmade and African-inspired designs at Emin Pasha Hotel. This fashion show?
This fashion show is called the East African Extravaganza. I decided to work with different designers this time because I get to learn a lot from different people. And I invited Mustafa Hassan Ali, and he didn't give me a hard time.
Oh, nice.
He allowed to. I was so honored, glad, and happy at the same time. I'm trying to introduce a show where we get to work with different designers, like different people, because what I learned from Swahili Fashion Week, it's like designers work together. You get to learn a lot from different people. You get to see different ideas. You learn a lot.
It was a beautiful show. So I know how you guys like to know all about your celebrities, and this is the part which is your favorite part and my favorite part. This is where we get to know what the celebrities are up to. Hearsay. For all those TV and radio personalities, someone has recognized your efforts and decided to launch a TV and radio personality awards, which will start sometime this year. This week they had a launch party at the Garden City rooftop and it was attended by many hopeful TV and radio personalities. We can't wait for these awards to officially hit the scene and give other award ceremonies some competition. Taking a little break from the Club Paradise tour, the Rock Nation rapper decided to sit down with DJ Drama to touch a few topics here and there that include touring with Drake, a joint project with Kendrick Lamar, and of course, the highly publicized beef with Diggy Simmons. In fact, the situation with him and Diggy drama. According to Jay, he said there's nothing going on and he's not even thinking about it. He's also added that Diggy is good, talented, but a kid, and that's not the type of beef he would want to be involved in. We're going to take a quick break, but when we do come back, definitely more exciting entertainment. Keep it locked. So welcome back from the break. You're still chilling with me, your girl Robin Kirsty here on Login. And this week we had a new night introduced at Zone 7 and it was Myth Mayanja showcasing for all his fans, and it was just all about Myth Mayanja doing his thing for his fans. So check this out.
Take a page out the Bible, I'm rocking all yellow gold. Face to face with my rivals, these things crying, I fold. Took the dose off the cheap, now we just ride slow.
It is very noticeable how hip-hop has gained respect in the music industry here in Uganda.
With the rhymes we wrote like posters glued to life. This night broads are like the drip on your robe of this compass broads a sleek speaker. The flow has unique features, so I earn my own spot like a cheap preacher. I spit ether, so either you respect mine or you get flatline. It's Eugene. It's in the way I walk, so Eugene. It's in the way I talk, so Eugene. From my head to my feet, so Eugene. What you get is what you see, so Eugene. And it's in the way I walk, so Eugene. And it's in the way I talk, so Eugene. From my head to my feet, one more time. What you get is what you see. Look, are y'all from Eugene? Yes, I am. Are y'all from Eugene? Yes, I am. Are you from Eugene? Yes, I am. Well, if you're Eugene, raise your hand. Are you from Eugene? On any track, I punch lines and each line is different. I'm in a line of geniuses. Line for line, I showed you what a genius is. I throw up more lines than the fisherman's rod. Each line is good bait on it, so go forward. My lines are in the green lane, they go forward. If it's beef you want, my lines will be on it. On it. My lines move a straight path that can never be cornered. Caution, the cross the red lines is landmines. My lines stay up front like they were headlines. Line for line, yes, K-U-D. Line for line,
The artists are getting better in number and better Plus, the fans keep showing their love.
Don't need a necklace to shine. I can eat you past the breakfast like serial killers. Crossing names up with my checklist and needing a fill up for your lyrics. My verse is the bestest, your hearse is expected. The way I'm murdering the beat, competition is dead and buried. Took it further with the beats. What's up, 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 what's up? Like yellow hair on this never look fresher. I bake my bread home in the lab like Dexter. A clear cut diamond, the good and the pressure.
At the 9/11 show, Tom Mayanja, aka The Myth, and a couple of friends spit rhymes and gave the fans an altogether hip-hop show.
What's up, 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 what's up.
Entirely a hip-hop night. This is definitely my favorite part of the show, and it's definitely the one-on-one where I get artists and ask them about them. And this week it was none other than Brenda Nambi. So if you think you knew a lot about Brenda, you get to know way more about Brenda Nambi. Check this out. So when we first met Brenda Nambi was through music from The Obsession.
Sure.
So tell me, when did you start music, or how did you start music?
When did I start music? That's a long journey. But I started through Obsessions, with Obsessions.
Yes.
They trained me. I give them. And still with music, I started with Obsessions. We went through boot camp, I should call it, for music. So that is when I started. Then I broke off to form HB Toxic with my friend Helen. And now I'm doing a solo career.
What was the whole experience being part of Obsessions? Was one of the biggest music groups ever.
Let's put it this way. I learned so much. I learned to deal with different people. It was very challenging, but I learned so much. Usually I take my challenges and I try to learn certain things. I pick things I learn from my challenges. So I would say I learned a lot to deal with people, different people, because there were different characters. I was surrounded by 28 characters or more. So I learned a lot.
Yeah.
And that is what is guiding me right now, to deal with different people at a different time, at a particular given time or chance.
After Obsessions, you did a bunch of songs and it was great. The Obsession career was great. And then I see HB Toxic.
Yeah.
And how did this come about?
Well, we left. We figured, me and Helen, it was time to venture into something else. I needed to grow. I needed to do different things with my life. And we left. Me and Helen, we left and we decided to be toxic thing, and I guess it worked.
It did. Two sexy, beautiful ladies.
It worked. Thank you.
Toxic.
Yes.
How did Brenda Nambi decide to be like, okay, I want to do solo?
Well, we got busy. I'm doing fashion, and we got busy on solo things. Careers, and we sat down and decided to do solo projects as well, because then we can make our own time. I know when I'm going to studio, I know when I want to rehearse, and I make time. But before that, when I have time, she doesn't have time. When she has time, I don't have time. So our time kind of like separated.
Definitely.
But sat down and decided to ever become less selfish. Less
selfishness is good.
Yeah, then we shall sit down and bring back HB Toxic. Yeah.
Oh, that's definitely great. So now, music-wise, your first single as Brenda Nambi was
Go. Yeah.
It was Go.
Yeah, yes. The video.
Okay.
I just finished my second video, which I was waiting for the fashion show to end. Then I bring it up. You'll be seeing it soon. In a week, maybe. It's a Luganda song.
Oh, completely Luganda.
Completely Luganda.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we can't wait to see that. Hopefully, we're the first people to preview it to the
Bribe
whole
me.
world.
Bribe me.
I will. We'll talk about that later, but I will bribe you. So you used to make some of the clothes for the Obsessions?
Almost all of them.
Oh.
The
Wow.
costumes, yeah.
Which is cool because every time I saw Obsessions, I was like, you guys were always costumed.
Yeah.
And I was always wondering if it's a designer or somebody behind, or you just bought, because I always used to think you buy them maybe outside, but you design them. That's definitely cool.
Yeah.
So when did you decide you're like, okay, now I want to do it as a business?
Well, definitely. Before I left Obsessions, but then Obsession was still also very taxing. Like, I didn't have time to actually concentrate. Now it's a good thing because I can make my own time. I have my own timetable. I shoot a video and like, okay, let me let this video work as I work on the fashion show. The fashion show is done. Shooting my, putting out my other video, and probably you'll have a listening party soon.
A listening party? She's going all Hollywood on us. Oh yeah.
Yeah. People here have a tendency of thinking anything African fabric is either local or less interesting, or it's for the poor, but it's how you look at things. Even the last collection, the last one we just had, there was a lot of African fabric, but no one could tell. Even the people who came to first was like, oh, this is a nice material. I'm like, okay, this is actually African fabric, but no one could tell.
Oh, they couldn't tell.
Yeah.
It was so And how do you see the difference between the, Kenyan or Tanzanian or East African on a whole? How do you see how different they are to our industry here?
I actually think Ugandans we appreciate fashion more. But when I went to Swahili Fashion Week, it's a whole different culture. They have a way they are dedicated to fashion, especially attendance and following, trends and all that. Yes, Ugandans like to know, they like to know what's on and what's not on, but we are not that eager about fashion yet. And it's sad, but we shall get there.
Okay.
If we have a few people trying to make it,
who stick to it,
we shall definitely get there.
So we make it wild. Oh, up to the morning light, right on. Let's get together, we make it wild. Oh, up to the morning light.
Yeah.
So what should we expect now with music or fashion? Yeah.
Music or fashion? Fashion is like something I'll always do even if I break a hand or break a leg.
It's the passion.
It's not really the passion, but on a more, how should I call it, on a reality sense, reality ground, it is something. Because if music, if I break a leg, that means I can't perform anymore. Or maybe I can sit down and sing. But fashion, I can always sketch. Or I can use one leg to sew. I can stitch if I'm not dead. But they're all important in my life. They yeah.
Well, nice. I'm very happy to be talking to you because, you're one of the hustlers.
Yes.
Very true. Inspirational. Very inspirational. We're going to take another quick break, but keep it locked here on NTV, and Logan will be right back. Welcome back from the break. You're still watching Logan here on NTV, and I told you we'll have another amazing party, and it is Miss Uganda. We've been following them all over the place, and this week they had to showcase their talents, and they did that at Governor. And guys, get ready to check this out. The Miss Uganda team has been on the road trying to find the queen amongst all queens. And I can tell you this is not an easy task. To become Miss Uganda, you have to be more than beautiful, but also have other attributes that make you different from all the rest.
Baby, put your lips on mine, and I'm loving you forever. Anytime we find ourselves about, if you just close your eyes.
Last week, the girls were tested on their talent skills and they showcased what they think makes them unique from the rest.
Nice to meet you, Cutie. I love the sound of your name.
It's alright. Actually, because I've been seeing your bum energy within tricks. I can watch and run for bum surgery.
Girl, you're still so funny. Anyway, you know what? Let's find out because I have to get home and change. I have to go. I have a dinner date with him.
Anyway, it's okay, but be careful because you need those jobs.
You can count on you.
Okay, bye. Nice to have to go.
It's contestant number 17, and she's also taking acting as a talent. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Rachel Kelly Chiramo, the mind behind the script.
It has been definitely great kicking it with you guys here on Login and on your favorite channel, NTV. That's all I had for you this week, but if you join us next week, we'll have way more parties for you. If you want to give us any comments, send your message to 6565 or check our NTV Login page and give us your view. I'm your girl, Robin Kisty, and it is a wrap.
This is NTV.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Peter Igaga, and I want to thank you for joining us this evening as we are once again on Men. Today we're here at the Sheraton Kampala Hotel in the Presidential Suite at the courtesy of the Sheraton Hotel. I want to get straight into it as we discuss delayed proposals. On my right, I have my three musketeers. Guys, welcome to the show.
Hi, Peter.
As always,
Hi,
and
Peter.
we've got three very unique guests with us. I'll start from my left with Moses, actually, which is your right. Moses, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You know, you're a man with a very unique story, which we will get to, actually. There are things that a lot of people will learn from you, and I think you will enjoy it. Shamila,
Hi.
how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Looking very fantastic and beautiful.
Thank you so much, Peter.
Andrew can't keep his eyes off you.
I guess.
You should have called me the old man of the clan. That's my actual name, old man of the clan. So I bring wisdom and experience that comes with age to discuss matters of proposals.
Yes. And in fact, now that you've mentioned it, everybody talks about Andrew Menda as Uganda's most senior bachelor. Is that, or is that not true?
I think that they would be partly correct, because at 99, you'd expect that any wife I would have married, unless I married her when I was 30, would be old enough and dead and leaving me alone, in which case I would be not a bachelor but a widower.
Okay, yes.
But that is also not true. 50 years, 5 years younger than me, is still there and lives with me. Why the people of Uganda are so concerned about my private affairs, which is my marriage?
I can
Marriage,
explain that for you.
official marriage, is a public statement of purely private intentions. Now, I don't think that I should make my private intentions known to the public. That is why, although I am married, I did not go to the church, I did not go to the state, and I did not go to tradition, because I don't believe that any of those three institutions should have any say on my marriage. My heart, that of my wife, and the consent of both our parents is sufficient.
Yeah, Andrew, you said Andrew. He says he's married. But Andrew, and I think I'd like to hear from Shamila. Shamila looks very shocked that you can say that. Women want to get married. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, but I'm wondering, when you said he's married and he's not made any intentions of going to the parents or in the community, anything, I don't think you're married. I think you're just having a relationship.
Let me repeat my point.
Yes.
I do not want the church, the state, or tradition, you can call it culture, which is Kwanjula, to sanction my marriage. I said my marriage is sanctioned by the love between the two of us, me and my wife, and the consent of our parents on both sides.
But doesn't it have to be witnessed?
Yeah.
But I have told you our parents witnessed it. My friends
I need the definition of marriage. I don't seriously agree with him.
Yeah.
And I know why you want to. Moses has a very unique situation here. Moses has 4 women.
3.
Okay, 3, sorry, women. Who know each other and happy.
Oh yeah.
And he's not married to any of them.
Yes.
But he has children with all of them.
Yes.
I think, Moses, you are my kind of guy. Give me 5.
But Peter,
I think at the end of it all, just come to think about this. What do you really want? Is it about the ceremony? I don't think so. Is it about
Moses, people like public shows.
Is it about the whole village coming to this because
people want to witness.
Witness what? Where were they when I was getting started? That's my affair. Me.
Guys, let's put it this way. That the convention, the normal thing among human beings, is that you grow up, you go to school, when you finish you get a job, then you find a woman, you go church or mosque wedding. That is possible for the majority. Now, the exceptional characters, like Moses, of course, like me, who don't believe that we should follow social conventions of society. And in that sense, we follow our own independent thinking.
Ransom, no,
Isn't that the right thing to do?
I need to hear from you because...
And ransom, don't take a ransom from me.
Reason being, do you agree with what Andrew's saying? And what both Andrew and Moses is saying? Because Shamila, as you can see, is...
But for me, excuse me, I just want to know the definition of marriage. If Mwenda can you explain to me what marriage means?
A union of 2 hearts.
In very simple
that
terms.
I love.
That's marriage?
Yes.
Okay.
So what you say in Moses' case was a union of 4 hearts?
Exactly. If Moses is a union of...
You know what?
But there are 2.
There's one pillar in the middle. There's one pillar in the middle.
And surrounded by 3.
You mean all those roads come back to the one?
Does this have anything to do with the fact that your name is Moses and you can even expect number 4? Anyway, I'm just asking, but also my question was...
Joseph, the matter is like this. You see, he's not married to them as one institution. For each one of the ladies he's married to, there is a union of the heart with this one, another union. So at any one time there are 2 hearts.
I think
for me, look, my belief is this. I mean, in that is obviously a case of non-conformism in what could be termed an extreme case. His is less extreme, a little bit more conventional, non-conformist. Look,
which is the extreme case?
His.
You are shocked that a man can have more than one wife?
You just explained about the marriage.
It's about
yes.
non-conformism, and you said it earlier on that it's an issue where you've decided that you're not going to conform to the regular societal norms and cultural yes, and I think that's fine. I think if you have a relationship with someone like you do, and you decide that this is the basis of our relationship and there's families involved, I think that's cool. I'm more inclined to believe and advocate a one man, one woman.
Why?
That's just what I believe. That's where I come from. It might be a Christian background where, one man, one woman.
Shamila, just to get to what you're saying, it comes back down to because when you're proposing, you're looking, and if I may read what Andrew's actually saying, I don't agree with what he's saying, but he has a sub-element of truth in what he's saying. Before you get married, by the time you decide to get married, shouldn't somebody be in a position that they have decided, this is it, I'm going to get married and I'm going to settle down, to avoid the whole issue of cheating from a lady's perspective?
Yes, it's true. But when men are saying that you're going to continue cheating because, and also you're saying that you're married, that's why the whole issue of marriage comes in. Like, you're committed to one person whereby you're going to be, she's going to be your wife. But if you're going to be committed to 2 different or 3 different women, then that's not marriage.
Why do men delay to propose?
Yeah.
And I think, Andrew,
you want me to give
why you've not proposed.
Yes.
Who said I have not proposed? I told you I have not gone to the church, I have not gone to the state, I have not gone to tradition to seek sanction for my marriage. That does not mean I haven't proposed. Now I can answer your question.
Yes.
Why do men delay proposing? If you consider marriage to be important, everything that is important, you must treat them with some trepidation, and there must be some importance. If you meet a girl in a bar and say, okay, here is a ring, I propose to marry you, really, would she take you serious?
No.
So any good thing must be delayed and delivered in measured steps with some level of trepidation. So it's natural and normal that all proposals, and I advise all the young men out there, please, you may scare the hell out of these young ladies' hearts.
Before I get to you, Shamila, I want to hear from you. Do you think it's right? Because a lot of ladies have issues with that. They say, men just don't grow up. Okay, and they only propose when they grow up.
No, some women just want to be proposed immediately, like you're in a relationship for more than 2 years. They need to hear something from you. They need to have some commitment from the guy. But the moment you're just taking it for a ride, you're taking it for granted that I have to be with you for more than 4 years, and you're not even saying anything, then they get concerned. They say, what type of... where are we going? So, and they don't want to push it, because when you push, it's as if that's so yeah.
But
they're so desperate. They want to know, like, you're really serious about the relationship. Otherwise, remember about with women or girls, if you're not about the age, maybe you are wasting your time. Age is moving with you, it's not with you. You need to hear someone is serious about this relationship.
So if a man has not proposed, then he's not serious. Is that what you're saying?
No,
he can be serious in one or the, but you need to evaluate the relationship you are in. You need to know. Maybe it's because he's not yet financially stable. Maybe he's not yet, so you need to find out the reason why.
And Shamila, allow me to disagree.
Yeah.
There are 2 things here.
She hasn't allowed you to disagree, but you can disagree.
Yeah, one. At the end, I will still ask, what do you want? 2, we've been spoiled by this mentality. What I call the textbook. Yeah. Like you say, from school, then you get a job, then you get this girlfriend, then you have to propose, and then you have to go to church, and you have to call the whole village, and then they have to witness. In my view, I get my Shamila. We have our discussion from wherever we started from. Yeah. We come to our agreement. Really want. Yeah. And this is how we're going to take it forward. I put my cards on the table. Yeah. I tell you, look.
She says yes.
Yeah, she says yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Then, okay, this is number one. Number two, by the time number two comes into the picture, I'm very clear to say, you know what? This is what you're up for. You know, this is
number one.
I have Shamila. Yes. I have Shamila.
So
Shamila has my son, and then
So in your case,
by the time you get into it,
3 women.
by the time you get into it, you really know what's up.
And all of them are okay with that.
But from
Moses,
from
as
the
a
day
really
one,
great
you tell
guy.
this first
Moses, I haven't
marry
met
another
great
person.
guys like you in this country.
See, what I don't believe in is the
Moses is great because he has.
I don't have to take it to church and call the whole world to come and
But
listen.
it's all about communication.
Exactly.
Marriage, you need to communicate.
I want to
but I
say-
believe if you
So we're going to go into a break
woman,
first, and then as
there's
soon as
no
we
way
come
you
back,
can
Colin,
tell me that
Ransom, I know you're boiling and you really have a lot to say. We're going to
This is
get
what
Moses.
Yes.
But you know there is a certain
Moses,
zone. Yeah.
we're going to have to go into a break, and then we're coming back. But as it is,
Because Colin looks agitated. I don't know.
I am extremely agitated at the way things are going.
we're here at the Sheraton
It's just
Kampala
gone
Hotel talking about delayed proposals. There's so much being said over here. I think everybody's got something that needs to come out
And the advice from the old man of the clan is always delay your proposal.
until you're ready.
No.
Just keep it
So that
delayed.
it has some touch of importance and significance.
So you
have heard
can
from
die
us.
eventually without marrying.
Well, welcome back. We are here at the Sheraton Kampala Hotel discussing delayed proposals. Some men propose, according to Andrew. Some men should not. In fact, most men. Well, welcome back. We are here at the Sheraton Kampala Hotel discussing delayed proposals. Some men propose, according to Andrew. Some men should not. In fact, most men should not.
Actually, that's not true. Every man has to propose. Listen,
but we're going to
Peter,
get back to you.
You cannot be in a relationship with a woman unless you propose something to them.
Yeah.
Now, of course, proposing an event or a ceremony is very different from proposing a relationship. Now,
Yes.
I think marriage, substantively,
Is a relationship.
is a relationship.
Yeah.
The ceremony of marriage, that is
That
what
is
you
totally
call
different.
form. The relationship is substance, the ceremony is form. So what is more important? What would the woman want? The substance of a relationship or the form of that relationship? The final part.
Yeah.
I have a friend, lived with his girlfriend for 5 years. They got married on Saturday. They divorced, or for that matter separated and later divorced on Tuesday. It lasted 4 days. Had they not gone to church to have all this nonsense, they would still be together.
No. I beg to differ. But let me hear from Ransom. Ransom has been bubbly.
No, Colin has been...
Okay, yeah, Colin, all right, you go first.
Peter, if you're trying to sideline me on this show,
All right.
stand one.
Colin is married. For how many years you've been married?
No, I've not been married actually.
Okay.
Which is
Not even once. Not even.
So just hear me out. I come from a point of view that we think that Andrew says marriage is a union between two hearts and two people, but people don't live like animals because they live in a social context, and that social context places a certain amount of validation on structure and forms, as you say. So it is true that every woman will want the substance of a good marriage, but really also they want the form, because that validation that's presented by societal acceptance then gives assurance that you will not renege on these promises that you made in private, because there has been precedents of people who have reneged on these promises made in private.
Not even those who...
Even in public.
Even in public. So it is a form of saying...
What are you looking for in all this?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So Moses' women will trust him. They'll trust him not to renege. But maybe a lot more women out there are not able to look at Andrew or look at Joseph or look at me. You okay? and say he will not renege his
I
pledge.
agree with you where you say that there are certain social norms and those social norms need to be respected. Where I disagree with you. Hold. Every woman is the same. There are women, they may be 1%, they may be 3%, and men who may also be a minority, possibly 3%, who believe that you can enter a relationship and it is stable and committed without official marriage. So do not say every woman would like this.
But those are the wrong elements.
Andrew, I'm going to insist and keep going back. Is this the first union of hearts that you've had? What you're calling your marriage now?
Yes. On a long-term basis, yes.
Okay. Whatever that is.
Unions that were supposed to be temporary.
Okay.
No, it's not about even marriage. Proposing. When you propose somebody, you can just put a ring on her finger.
Guys, I did not complete my point.
You believe also in a ring?
A ring is good because it's a commitment. It's an engagement.
Yeah, exactly.
This confirms that this is my real.
I think what we need to go back to. Let's assume. Let's assume.
No man walks into a bar, grabs a girl by the woman and takes her home.
Yes.
And you say they have married. There must be some discussion you have with her, which is the proposal.
Yes, exactly. So what then do we think is an ideal time before the question has to be posed? Whether it's to have a second one coming into this relationship,
Depends upon the individual. There should be no rule. Let me advise you, young men and women. At 99, I have a great experience. No young man.
You have no experience because you're not married, man. You have not married, so you cannot advise people out there that you are not married.
He's not socially accepted.
Yes, he's not socially accepted as a married man. That's why everybody knows that you're not
You're not
married.
socially accepted.
Yes, you're not accepted.
Guys, we are talking about marriage. We are talking about marriage proposals, and if we do not define marriage, we'll call every single relationship marriage, and that is my problem.
It is not you to decide upon the people are married. It is the people in the relationship
homosexuality.
Listen, it is the people in the relationship to decide whether their union is marriage or
but you see, marriage is marriage. So you in the relationship, marriage is marriage. There is a definition for marriage. So if you think in your relationship, if you think in your relationship, you've reached. That's what I don't know. That's what I want us to define, so we do not digress.
Even 10 years,
the common law definition of marriage. Any man and woman who have lived together for 3 years are deemed to be married.
Exactly, that's
I've been married before.
But you must have
Should you live with your girlfriend, by the way, cohabiting?
You mean in the same house?
In the same house for 3 years, under common law, you are deemed to be married.
What about the case of Moses
So now he doesn't live with me. He doesn't live with any of them for 3 years.
He is deemed to be married to all of them. This country recognizes polygamy. This country.
How do you live with 4 people in the same time at the same place
so
and everything?
let me ask you, can't I go and conjure 5 women?
Can you?
Can you do that?
Of course you can in Uganda.
No, but if you have enough time on the same day.
Jacob Zuma, the president of South Africa, ladies and gentlemen, listen, the president of South Africa is married to 4 women.
Yeah.
And it's officially recognized.
Yes.
By law, yeah.
Yes. And in Uganda
But
here,
officially recognized.
90% of all the politicians you see in Uganda have more than one wife. Of course, they do not admit it openly.
Andrew, this
Now,
means
I will not
dangerously
blame
coming to a generalization.
Listen, 90%, and I'm giving you authentic statistics of Uganda have more than one wife. They may, in order to be politically correct,
and socially accepted.
Actually, our society accepts all these ministers whom I know have second wives, but they have not officially announced them.
Yes.
So we are living society into a westernized.
But also, Andrew, when
modern
you
society.
say about Kwanjula, that's what we mean about making it official. That's what we mean that officially you're introducing this to your friends and
as
family.
a general norm, but for every norm there is an exception. Did you know that?
But I think a lot of ladies there.
I want to know why proposals delay.
I think that's where we should go.
I think proposals delay.
That's a proposal delay. This
one
is
by one, guys. Otherwise, we will not hear each other. It's important that we deal one by one.
So let's deal with mine. Here's what I think.
Okay, let's stick.
I think that when you come down to it, and what's happening more and more every day, because girls are more worried that the guy will take his time. The girl worries because if too much time goes, as Shamila said, if too much time goes by and she's growing old, and there will be less and less chances of her getting picked up and getting married. By
She
someone
finds
else.
another man.
And then in the other case of men like Andrew, there's the if I take my time, I'll keep my options open.
Yes.
Keep your options open on the table. So maybe a better, sweeter dish will come along. And most times we know that's what happens. We know cousins and friends who just got dumped day before the wedding. Said no, he went away and married someone else. Yeah. So that's what's happening.
But Colin, really, what you're saying is actually wrong, because even in a marriage, I know so many of my friends in the last 5 years who have gotten married and have walked out of their relationships and entered other relationships where they have not gone to church or to the state to register marriage, and are even in more meaningful long-term relationships with their quote-unquote non-married partners than they were with their married partners.
Yes, but you see, once you marry, you bind it, you tie it down.
Did you say you are married?
Who?
No, let me give you a warning as an old man.
I said no such thing.
Let me give you a warning as an old young about that. Marriage creates settled expectations. People begin to take each other for granted. That is why most marriages in Kampala, 55% of the marriages in Kampala that are taking place between 2005 and now, you go to Nakawa courts, they will tell you, are falling apart. Do you know why? Because people think that because I have married her,
You're just generalizing the whole issue. There's some people who are married even for 20 years. Or 20 years or 15 years. There's so many marriages which are
yes,
really
but even I'll go after 40 years of marriage, separated from his wife.
Straight after the break, you're going to have to hold on for just 1 minute.
Peter, I'll go, the former vice president of the United States under Bill Clinton, after 40 years of marriage, separated from his wife in 2010.
But I don't think it's because he delayed to propose.
It's not about delayed
We'll be
proposals.
right back after the break as we get back into the issue of delayed proposals. We'll be right back.
Can we talk about that? Delayed proposals, guys?
We're not talking about delayed proposals anymore.
Welcome back to Men. Today we are discussing delayed proposals. At least we're heading that way. Don't forget, we need to hear from you. This is your show. You can get us on NTV Men. That's on Facebook. Like our page and give us your feedback. Or you can follow us at NTV_Men on Twitter. Follow us and we will follow you back. SMS 6565, as you can see on your screen. Keep the information coming through. We need to talk to you. Now, guys, back to delayed proposals. Colin is getting very heated.
When a woman feels rejected and used,
we'll get to the woman who's rejected and used. I need to know, does cohabiting, because before you get married it's cohabiting, delay proposals?
May I?
Okay, you first.
As an experienced cohabitant.
But really, just
No, I haven't cohabited.
Do you know everything about these things?
While you're dating someone, you can actually get into a comfort zone where you actually think you're married, you know their parents, you to your house, and you actually think you're married. Yet this girl is thinking, they need this physical ring.
You can ask me that. Every woman on this planet.
Why should I ask you? What we can do,
Yes.
we would go out of this
No, you should ask me because I know
Let's
how.
go out of this studio at Sheraton, and their kindness to give us this studio. We go into the streets and do a poll of 2,400 women. I will tell you, you will find that about 3% will say they don't need a proposal.
Unless if they've been in
And you know what? I think that's okay. What is
this idea that human beings
one of the things that
human beings?
No, but human beings all need validation.
One of
But people get validation.
Everybody's something you
can. I tell you, some people need validation from intellectual achievement. Others
That's
from
only you, Andrew.
money.
That's only you.
Others
Other
need
people find
validation.
comfort in a good husband who provides a roof and takes care of them and fathers their children and makes sure they are safe. That's where validation comes from.
Ransom has really been trying to
but not the ceremony, right?
Need validation.
One of
People get validation. Everybody take a ransom out of us.
you know what? I think if we actually come back to the issue of delayed proposals, I think more and more one of the reasons why men delay proposals is how expensive it is getting to get married. Yes. Now I know that in Zimbabwe, where I come from, and I think we discussed it a little bit earlier on how the whole bride price thing becomes a commercial venture. It's like, what do we need? We need new cars. Get this guy for whatever we can. And it's almost like extortion. And so before you tell someone that, listen, I want to marry you, better have your game right, and you better have your money right, and you better know that you can go to this girl who's worth 300 cows, 400 cows, or whatever, and be able to do that. That's why we get this guy for whatever we can. Extortion. And so before you tell someone that, listen, I want to marry you, better have your game right, and you better have your money right, and you better know that you can go to this girl who's worth 300 cows, 400 cows, or whatever, and be able to do that. That's one of the reasons why. That's one of the reasons why people are delaying.
And all this, despite the fact that she loves him,
yes,
and he loves her.
Yeah.
They want to be together, but they can't because of that.
And also, why do
financial
they
issues.
still panic when they actually know you've actually discussed this? That maybe it's not the right time. We cannot afford this. Why do they still panic?
Okay, delayed the proposal. Yes. Let me make one comment on Colin. I think that Colin is an absolutist. He does not recognize the existence of difference. Society is very diverse.
I think that
and people have different people have different character traits, people have different ambitions, and people have different attitudes towards particular things. I'll give you an example. A lady may meet a man, especially a guy like me, who has, from his heart, expressions and actions and words, it's very clear that if he says, I'm committed to you, that commitment, you can even take it to the bank. In which case, such a lady will not be anxious about getting a ring on her finger or things like that, because she already has the commitment, she can feel it.
No, should be, not would be.
Should be.
Should be, not would be.
Now, there are some girls, they meet a guy, the guy is very unclear, and the girl, the only way they can tie him down is by getting a ring on the finger and going to the church. Now, of course, if you're dealing with a guy who you do not trust very much, you need to tie them down. But if you trust a guy who has higher levels of credibility, like me, of course, you don't need all these things.
But also,
everybody jumps.
If I was to date Andrew, I don't think
You know
I would
what,
take her
Andrew?
because
Andrew, can I ask
if
you a
at this
question?
age you are not committed to anyone,
Who said
there's
I'm not committed to
not. I mean,
anyone? I said I'm
you've not
committed to someone.
proposed. You've not proposed to her.
I told you I've proposed to her.
Andrew.
In a public forum.
In a public forum, like
So
for
therefore, there is no
everybody.
accountability.
No,
Everybody
look,
knows you're not
Andrew
even
has
sure
stated
about
very
her because
clearly
you're still
that he
looking
doesn't
outside.
need to conform to society,
Yes.
right? He's also said that there's
Not
about
society. I don't want to
conform to
the
the
majority.
majority. Yes.
If you
Now,
go to my Facebook page,
the
and
unfortunate
my Skype,
thing,
you'll find a statement there.
the
that
unfortunate
whenever
thing
you find
is
yourself
that
on
we
the side
live,
of the majority. It is time to pause and reflect, and it is a quote from Mark Twain.
and that is great. You know, the issue is that there's the other 97%, and really those are the people with
that count. Really?
Okay. You know,
I think that's the masses at the door knocking. I was going to say, Andrew, I don't think it's fair for you to come and force people.
We're out of time. So I know time flies when you're having fun. We're getting that. So
Let's tell the conformist. This is look. No, the conformist is. Look at all of us dressed in a casual way. Look at him in an NRM tie of all things. What's the great conformist?
That Andrew, okay, Andrew, I think this
one by one.
I
want a quick shot from you.
Yes, quick. I'll make it short and sweet,
please.
Here's what I think.
Yes.
I think that whether we choose to be rogue elements, or whether we choose to be conformists, or whether we choose to be committed, loving husbands, or what,
or unique.
in our own individual capacities.
Yeah.
We have to agree that we do not live like wild animals. We live in a social context.
Yes.
And while we may not conform to all, there are certain norms that we try to conform, not for ourselves, but for the people we love and the people we care about.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do things for people. And I think that it is not fair for ambitious, overachieving individuals to try and force this on the rest of society, because after all, those ambitious, overachieving individuals are most times a very big minority.
Okay,
I stand absolved.
Look, for me, I think too often in this day and age, the whole marriage and weddings and whatnot become a show, an expression of the bank balance, or what people want to show as their bank balance. So the bigger the wedding, the fancier the cars that are there, the amount of cows that are paid or given for as bride price. These things are issues, and they affect somebody's decision to be able to say, you know what, let's get married. Because if you've got 5 cents in your pocket and you love each other, and she's got her 5 cents, there's no way that you're going to be able to do it. And so you delay, and you run into months, years, decades maybe, that's one of the reasons that I think causes these delays in proposals.
Joseph.
We are talking about delayed proposals, but of course we are talking about marriage proposals. And this is my take on marriage. I'm going to liken it to a job situation because I don't think it is unlike one.
It's a lifetime job.
Listen, because like I said in the previous show, managing a marriage or a marriage for that matter, is the first organization you're ever going to manage, whether you've been in a job before or not. But for me, a job situation, some people don't have jobs, others do have jobs. It is not due to a lack of trying. It is not due to a lack of ability. It is, some people can't find jobs. Some don't even know. Even a marriage is like this. Some people are trying to get married. They can't. Others can't even find people to get married to. So it's all those things. People are trying. They meet a girl, then maybe the next, then some girls want to get married too soon, like delaying proposals. Even when you want to marry them, then it's always on their lips. And then I think that's what causes a lot of anxiety.
The old man of the clan.
The wisdom of age comes. Now, my own thinking, young people are giving them advice at 99, is the following things. There are no rules that govern marriage. One, you can propose to a female you have liked on the very first day of meeting them. And if you are a female, if a man proposes to you on the very first day, accept it. If read their mind, if they're genuine, your instinct tells you that they're genuine. So there is no date, specific date when you should propose. You can propose on the first day, in the first week, in the first month, in the first 5 years. That is one. Church, to the state or tradition to be married. If you are committed to each other and you can live together forever or even for 5 years anyway, even marriages can break up. You can go to church, you can go to the state, you can go to tradition, the marriage breaks up. So the second thing, don't have a rule there. How long it lasts depends upon your commitment. If a relationship is not good for you, whether you're married officially or unofficially, break it up, look for another. So in other words, don't have too many strong rules hanging like the sword of Damocles over your neck.
Shamila.
Gentlemen, I think
this has been a rough ride for you.
I think to me, I think thank you. I think marriage is such a special institution, and it's such a respectable institution whereby every woman in this world, I think, they all dream one thing after education and everything. They all dream to have children, to have families and everything. So it's such a respected institution. So if you live with such a relationship, it's very good, okay, to take time and study each other. There's no rush and there's no time limit for proposing and everything. But the most important is just to see and evaluate about the relationship. And also someone should commit after some time. But you cannot be in a relationship when you're not sure about it. After some time, someone just walks over and you're already old. You can't even go anywhere. You're just like in the middle of something, and then someone, the old age.
You're so unfair to women. So, are you saying that a woman, if she's not married, then she's in the middle of nowhere?
Yes, she is.
You're because you already wasted your youthful age,
Young
and you're
ladies
just married. You're already. Listen. Yeah. So let me finish up here. So that means marriage is a good thing to do.
So what is your statement to women who are not married? That they should go hang themselves?
No, they should not hang themselves. But if someone is not married, I mean, we are talking about relationship. It's not a sad thing. They should not even push for the relationship. They should not even push for the relationship. Not even having a sign of doing something. Then take it upon yourself and say, oh, please, I need some. No. You can also find other people who can, because there's love outside. If he's in love, stay with him. Yeah, who can propose. Yes. But if really you have a very good relationship, there's no need of this. You can still wait. The communication you have with your partner. Not proposing. Why he's not proposing, and he tells you, oh, maybe we are not yet ready, or maybe we need to do this. You know, you have the time plan. You're already planning everything. Then you understand you have time. But if someone is already stable, and you know that maybe you talked about it from the day one, and he's not thinking of it now, then you just continue, find out why he's not doing it. And most times, guys, sometimes you think maybe the guy's not able, but the time he gets money now, he's not even looking at you. He's looking at these other young girls who are coming up. The fresh ones, you know. And then you're just in the old woman there in the house like a piece of furniture. So what do you do in that case? You know?
Whoever wants to get into any relationship, take as much time as possible. But once you get locked in there,
Locked is a very strong word.
Yeah, once you're in it, be ready to take up. It's a full package. Yeah? You can't be in with half a leg. Once you're in, you're in. Yeah?
You have a full leg.
And I would want to insist, if I'm into this, it doesn't mean that I'm not into this.
So you can be into 3 at the same time.
But the first one is
and secondly, we're saying delaying what actually delays proposals? People are not confident of themselves. They're not sure where they're headed. Yeah, I'm a young guy. I'm out of campus. I don't know. I'm still worried about my job. I'm still worried about this. But I love this girl. What do I do? If I don't do anything now, then maybe she may go to someone else. At the end of the day, if you know what you want,
go for it.
If you know what you want, just go out and get it. And I'll still insist, it is never about the ceremony.
This is NTV.
A very good evening to you and a warm welcome to Saturday's NTV Weekend edition, this 14th day of July 2012. So tonight, tensions flare as Chitezi residents demonstrate over the increasing accidents in the area caused by KCCA garbage collection trucks. All the details are coming up. Plus, find out how approximately 400 primary school children in Bududa are stranded after their school was closed 3 weeks ago when a landslide swept through the area. Don't go anywhere this Saturday evening, starting right now with tonight's main headlines. 3 people injured as Chitezi residents demonstrate over the increasing accidents in the area caused by KCCA garbage collection trucks. 400 primary school children in Bududa are stranded after their school was closed 3 weeks ago by the devastating landslide. Also tonight, the anti-terrorism unit embarks on an abrupt crackdown on major entertainment places in Entebbe. And changing lives, we meet a youth-based organization helping to empower the unemployed and idle youth in the slums. Once again, a very warm welcome to NTV Weekend Edition. I am Rachel Arinitwe. Now we begin with the NTV Weekend poll, and UNATU has today released a press release concerning their position on the teachers' protests scheduled for this Monday and Tuesday, the 16th and 17th of July 2012. The union maintains that the teachers' protest still stands, and it's on this issue that we engage you tonight in our NTV Weekend poll, and we are asking: do you support the teachers' strike planned for this Monday and Tuesday? Do you support the planned teachers' strike for this Monday and Tuesday? To contribute, send your opinion to 8778. Remember to leave your name and where you are texting from. I will be reading a few of your comments during tonight's newscast. Now, moving on to tonight's main news, and 3 people have been injured this afternoon as Chitezi residents demonstrated over the increasing accidents in the area caused by KCCA garbage collection trucks. The demonstrations were sparked off by an accident in which a boda rider was knocked by one of the trucks. Many of the trucks were also damaged as residents threw stones at the vehicles. Julius Senkandwa opens tonight's newscast.
This day though kicked off well for this young man. It has ended up to be a day that he will live to regret. After being injured this afternoon, as residents of Chitezi along Gayaza Highway demonstrated over a spate of accidents by KCCA garbage collection trucks in the area. Him and others sustained major injuries as the residents pelted stones at them. This was as a result of a boda rider who was knocked by a truck, forcing residents to descend on it. They blocked the road and started pelting stones at the trucks. Then as the incident left many trucks destroyed.
I came a long time ago. We talked to over this issue.
unless you have decided, you have said that Mr. Jen from CC is going to come, they have to do this with what they are demonstrating. You know? Because now, if you fail to do what you are supposed to do, nobody is going to fight for the whatever phenomenon. You see?
As tension got out of control, Antwerp police were called in to intervene, but their presence did little to calm the angry residents.
Emotoka tebyaka mataala tebisiba bavuga bubi batuse n'okubisima ku bowa yafe kukima amazzi.
The residents have vowed not to allow any truck to pass into the area on their way to the garbage dumping grounds at Chitezi.
Tubalinze n'ekiro bajje ne bajje n'ekiro babire obaddi tugenda kuvaawo oba mwezi oba myaka kutaza n'abakulu.
The injured were later taken to hospital as police continue to plead with the residents to stay calm as attempts begin tonight to resolve the situation with an amicable solution. Julius Senkandwa, NTV.
This is my home.
Next tonight, approximately 400 primary school children in Bududa are stranded after their school was closed 3 weeks ago when a landslide swept through the area. Bududa district authorities and the Office of Prime Minister closed Bumalaha Primary School, saying the school location was dangerous after cracks developed near the recent landslide area, where 8 people are said to have perished. Hilary Yasiga has the details tonight.
Bumalaha Primary School has got a population of 390 pupils. The school was closed after the recent landslides which hit the area. However, since then, the district officials have never come up with an alternative solution to the education of the pupils.
Disaster committee that came to assess the situation there on ground recommended that school be closed and be relocated elsewhere. As leaders, we are facing a challenge in this way because the pupils who were formerly in that school have no immediate next school.
The parents are concerned that their children are at a risk of dropping out of school due to teenage pregnancy. They are now demanding that the Ministry of Education takes necessary steps to provide an alternative school for their children.
As a district council, we are sitting on Friday next week to also assess the situation and have a final decision as to where this school must be relocated.
Meanwhile, some of the survivors who are relocated from the landslide-prone areas have gone back, claiming that government has failed to come up with a relocation plan which makes them a burden to their relatives. They are accusing the local leadership of diverting the relief items meant for the survivors to people who are not directly affected by the landslide. Efforts to retrieve the bodies of the 4 missing victims is still going on.
The anti-terrorism unit last night embarked on an abrupt crackdown on major entertainment places in Entebbe to establish whether the proprietors have put in place security measures to protect customers and their staff. The purpose of the crackdown was to ensure that international visitors, workers and Ugandans alike can enjoy a good time in safety following a series of recent terrorism threats to the country. Agnes Nandutu reports as NTV gains special access to last night's operation.
Following a spate of terrorist attacks in Kenya, Uganda's security agencies have stepped up security in many places and wanted the population to increase their vigilance. To ensure that the home of the country's international airport is safe, the anti-terrorism unit last night embarked on an abrupt crackdown at major entertaining places in and around Entebbe.
Usually there's a tendency of relaxing. So we had to make it a point to go to these places, carry out spot checks, and make sure that they are alert.
Accompanied by plainclothes security agents and members of the police force from Entebbe, the unit aimed to ensure that all such entertainment venues have security checking devices to ensure that their clients and staff alike are kept safe. They also want to safeguard international visitors, workers and other Ugandans from the underlying threat of terrorism.
Entebbe also happens to be a place that most people would like to pass their time in. People come from Kampala, from all other places to come and enjoy themselves here, especially during weekends.
We have a lot of expatriates and
and people from other countries. For example, we have over 4,000 UN workers in Entebbe. Other people from other countries also who work in Kampala would prefer to stay in Entebbe. So a place like this one we are, on a Friday like this, you'll find over 200 or so Americans, Britons, name it. So given the terrorism threat that we have at the moment, for us as police in Entebbe, we don't take a chance.
This week, Uganda marked the second anniversary of the twin bomb blasts that claimed about 80 lives in Kampala. 2 years on, as the threat of terrorism prevails, the anti-terrorism unit wants to ensure that such an act of carnage is never repeated again in Uganda.
Now, across the border in Laikipia, Kenya, where a new attraction is drawing foreign and local tourists to a ranch. It's all about cows, and they're not the regular breed you would find in Kenya. Take a look.
Ol Pejeta Conservancy has long attracted tourists to admire wildlife, and lately the numbers have increased due to a new attraction, cows. Not just any cows, Ankole cows. The cows are not indigenous to Kenya and were brought in from Uganda.
They were brought here some time back to increase the breed, and also right now they are tourist attraction because not many people have ever seen these cattle. And local tourists normally comes here, and also the children from all the schools from Nairobi, Mombasa, just to see these cattle, because this is the only place that we have these cattle in the country.
This has really boosted attraction to Ol Pejeta Conservancy, and we continue receiving very good comments with a lot of repeat guests coming because of this.
They graze peacefully despite their seemingly menacing horns, and they seem to have fit right in mingling with the elephants here.
You can see the elephants and also the Ankole cattle. They are friendly, and this one integration increase check the feeding hierarchy.
Even as it is admired and seems as harmless as any other cow, when put in a defensive position, it will fight.
Na ni ng'ombe ambaye inapenda ndama zake sana. Na wakati inaanza na ndama inaanza kulia. Wanapigana hao kwa wenyewe, na hata mtu akikaribia karibu itamchota. Inaweza haribu mtu, na tena anajua hata kutupa mguu yake, huwezi karibia kusika mguu yake.
Besides the obvious tourist attraction, the caretakers here benefit in a more basic way.
Na inatupeanga maziwa. Maziwa yake tu ni msito kawaida, lakini nyama ni tamu sana.
And though it is believed their meat is tasty, the conservation is not about to test that theory. The revenue the Ankole cows are bringing makes them better alive than dead, and thus they are protected from poachers and carnivores alike. The Ankole is indigenous to Africa and have unique long curved horns that can grow up to 2.4 meters. They can weigh anywhere between 410 to 730 kilograms. Joyce Mkabwasi, NTV.
We now take a look at what you can expect when NTV Weekend Edition continues after this break. The Central Organization of Free Trade Union hands NRM a 4-day ultimatum to pay a remaining 16 million shillings to release workers MP Sam Nyumoki from jail. And former Minister and People's Progressive Party President Jaberi Bidandi Sali is discharged from hospital. NTV Weekend Edition continues after this break. Do stay tuned.
This is NTV.
It's party time every day at 4:30 p.m. Feel the music. Try out your favorite dance strokes. Watch the latest music videos from artists around the world as you dance to the beat.
Girl, you got me screaming fiesta. Body language saying whatever.
only on The Beat, Monday to Friday on NTV, your official groove station. Remember to call in with your music requests and also get a chance to win some incredible goodies. That's every Saturday from 1:30 p.m. only on NTV, the station that digs your music. Your Saturday afternoons just got better on NTV with Exposed.
Welcome back to NTV Weekend Edition. Now a reminder that in this evening's NTV Weekend poll, we are asking, do you support the planned teachers' strike coming up this Monday and Tuesday? Do you support the planned teachers' strike for this Monday and Tuesday? If you'd like to have your say and contribute to our discussion, the number is 8778. Remember to leave your name and where you are texting from. I'll quickly read out a few of your comments so far. Olwa Joffrey in Kampala saying it's true that teachers, just like other professions like health workers, too need a pay rise. Sitting at a round table and waiting patiently upon government is one big milestone in solving this problem other than striking. And we have somebody by the initials GB in Kasese saying, yes, teachers have been patient enough in the struggle for better pay. Their pay doesn't match with the cost of living. And he says that government needs to understand them. Thank you so much for all your responses. Please keep them coming. The number once again is 8778. Now, the Central Organization of Free Trade Union, an umbrella organization representing the interests of workers, has given NRM an ultimatum of 4 days to pay a remaining 16 million shillings to Victorian company advocates so that they can release Dr. Sam Lyomoki by next week. They say that if the money is not paid by NRM within this time, they will meet the costs in order for Lyomoki to be released from jail. COF2 also revealed that they are going to set conditions which will govern their representatives and the political party they support. Yesterday, the Court of Appeal sentenced Workers MP Sam Lyomoki to Luzira civil prison for 6 months for failing to pay 36 million shillings to a law firm that handled his constitutional interpretation case against the Attorney General and his NRM party.
NRM had previously requested Dr. Lyomoki to withdraw the case and that the NRM party would meet all the costs to his lawyers. But in 2007, NRM failed to pay the debts which forced lawyers to drag Dr. Lyomoki to court, and yesterday he was sent to jail for 6 months. Victoria Company advocates sued the legislator after he failed to pay their money for the work the law firm had done on his behalf. His committal was read by High Court's Registrar Elias Kisauzi. It's alleged that NRM tried to pay 20 million, but it was too late, and even the lawyers wanted the full amount of 36 million. However, today the members of the Central Organizations of Free Trade Union, COF2, an umbrella organization representing the interests of workers, declared in a news conference that NRM must pay back this money before Tuesday. If not, they will pay that money to let Lyomoki be released.
We as party leaders, we have given government a deadline of Tuesday. If they don't release Dr. Lyomoki, we shall be able to pay the money through contribution.
They have also noted that they have learned a lesson from this and they have to set tough and more stringent conditions which will govern their representatives and the political party they support.
So our relationship with the political parties must be clearly defined so that there are no errors in the process of our representation of the workers.
It is also revealed that the arrest of Dr. Lyomoki will not bar them from continuing to fight for their rights.
If it so happens that people are going to use such means to persecute the leaders of the workers, we shall resist them. The truth of the matter is that when it comes to our rights, nobody can stand our way.
Now, former Minister and People's Progressive Party President Jaberi Bidandi Sali has been discharged from hospital. Bidandi had been admitted to intensive care at International Hospital, Kampala, 18 hours after he was first taken to the hospital unconscious. Doctors and relatives attending to him say he has responded well to medication. Now, following several medical tests, it still remains unclear what precipitated the collapse of the veteran politician at his home in Bukoto, a Kampala suburb, at around 10 p.m. on Tuesday night.
musajja wange aluwa Isa.
Dadi kulikayo.
Musajja wange Isa.
Isa
It's just happened suddenly. I just felt very, very strong dizziness, and I didn't know what happened until I discovered my people lifting me, putting me in the car, and taking me to the hospital. I'm feeling quite fine. I'm quite fine. The doctors say I should come back home. Every check, every investigation was good, and I'm here. I'm quite happy.
Honorable Bedanseri is a respectable elder in this country. His track record, what he has done for this country, is there for all to see. And nobody has a problem with him. He's going on with his work, and we just wished him a quick recovery.
That when one is sick, or when there is a marriage, or one has lost his or beloved one, or somebody who is in difficulty, we all must come together, because that is what defines Uganda as a nation. These political parties should not divide us.
Now, while some of us are asked by the unemployed and idle youths in the slums, someone is working towards empowering them and giving them a future. Many of these youths are school dropouts because their source of livelihood has been cut off. Kids orphaned by HIV/AIDS are left to struggle through school and make sense of their life. Now, early this week, I embarked on finding out how Campabits, a youth-based organization, is improving the lives of the disadvantaged. Campabits is a replica project of Nairobits, an initiative that equips the youth with knowledge in web design, IT skills, creative multimedia and entrepreneurship to improve their opportunities in employment and entrepreneurship. Benjamin Lotaya is a web developer at 22 years. How he got to where he is was no walk in the park.
I came from a couple of schools down there in Nansana, and I was raised by a single mother. My dad passed away a couple of years ago in 1999. And I've been working, when I was still a kid, I used to work with an NGO. It's called KIFAD, Kita Family Alliance for Development. And it's also in Nansana. It's been helping like the community members to, especially the people who are actually suffering from HIV.
Community-based organizations identify young people who are disadvantaged, orphaned, and are unable to go to school. Some of the areas in focus include Kawempe, Banda, and Rubaga. It is important, however, that the identified person has the interest to study.
The whole concept started in Nairobi. Some Dutch ladies looked at the situation in the Nairobi slums, and they thought they could be able to do something to help the young people get, especially the youth in the slums who are not able to go beyond like Form 4. So they're looking at making them at least get some kind of dignity, be respected in society, be able to earn a living.
Right now I'm a Drupal developer, so Drupal is also a web designing tool, and it's pretty big. And yeah, I got the foundation from everything I was learning in Campabits, and the good thing is this year is actually being one of the softwares in the curriculum. But back then I had to train myself.
Joyce's story is one of the many success stories. She barely made it through school after she lost her parents and was left in the care of her grandmother who couldn't provide for her. Now, when she completed her secondary education, it seemed like the end of the road.
We've been introduced to a lot of softwares and more skills that we can be able to make our own websites. You can make different things like in graphics, you can make brochures, you can make business cards, you can make posters, you can draw business plans for people.
ICT media has been used creatively to improve the lives of the less privileged youth from slums. These youths are empowered and given skills ranging from graphic design, web design and development, among others, which enable them to enter the labor market.
The training is in 3 phases. The first phase, we call it course 1, giving them the basics of computer. Then course 2 and 3 is when they get a little more advanced. Of course, in course 1, they also deal with some entrepreneurship skills. They can be able to write a business plan. And then in course 2, they advance the entrepreneurial skills, and then they also move further to do something else.
After 2 years of existence, Campabit isn't just about developing ICT skills. The trust also develops the youth's character by inculcating important elements of personal confidence, self-esteem, and general life skills. Life might have proved difficult for Joyce and Benjamin, but with a nudge in the right direction, the future is bright. We'll now take another break. I'll be right back with the very latest in sport. Don't go away.
This is NTV.
No one feels the motherland like we do. So tune in every day at 6 p.m. and Fridays from 11 p.m. for the best in homegrown music. Only on NTV, the station that celebrates local music talent.
To be honest, it's one of the most scary genres of music for me. Welcome to NTV Weekend Sport. Fast tonight, Ponziano Lwakataka's dream of retaining the Pearl of Africa Championship faced a setback, with the engine forcing him out of on the second day of the competition. Lwakataka had covered 45 of the 48 kilometers and was drawing close to Ronald Sebuguzi in Luero before the mechanical fault ended his participation in this year's continental scoring event. Zambia's Mohamed Essa, though, maintained his good run in the ongoing Pearl of Africa rally with a good performance in Luero, where he came top a minute faster than Jas Mangat. Ronald Sebuguzi came third, while Rwanda's Giancarlo David and Chata finished fourth and fifth. Susan Mwonge and Eddie Mungereza are trailing in sixth and seventh spot. The competition continues and concludes tomorrow in Luero. Now, across the border in Tanzania, APR of Rwanda kicked off this year's Sekafa Club Championships on a winning note after beating debutants Wausalam of Sudan by 7-0. Meanwhile, defending champions Young FC suffered an embarrassing 2-0 defeat to Burundi's Athletic. Sam Poza reports from Dar es Salaam.
Rwanda's APR set the highest goal-scoring record in this year's Sekafa Club Championship after beating debutants Wausalam of Sudan by 7-0. Two Uganda Cranes players, including midfielder Johnson Bagole and winger Dani Wagaruka, were part of the APR side. However, the victory that preceded Yanga's downfall to Burundi's Atletico in a 2-1 defeat was a learning curve for URA goalkeepers coach Wasa Sadiq. URA are starting their title campaign tomorrow against home side Simba FC.
Only the opening match is giving us the way forward. But I, for one, and my entire technical men, we are strong. That there are no serious injuries. We arrived safely, a bit apart from some bit of fatigue, but we are all okay, minus injury-free.
This year's Sekafa Club Championship kicked off on a high note here at the Dar es Salaam Stadium in Tanzania. However, in the absence of two representatives from Sudan and Ethiopia. Despite the shortfall, however, the organizers are confident that the tournament will go on as planned. For NTV Sport, here at the Dar es Salaam Stadium in Tanzania, I'm Sam Poza.
Now, Titus Tugume has registered a technical win against Malik Kalisa in the super heavyweight professional kickboxing fight at Lugogo and is now looking for an international challenge. Despite registering his second loss against Tugume, Malik still insists he is a better fighter and says he'll make another attempt for the national title after fully recovering from an outstanding injury. Alfred Odong reports.
Titus Tugume Hard Rock has maintained a clean sheet in his professional kickboxing career with yet another win against Malik Kalisa, the hitman at Lugogo. Tugume took charge of the fight from the beginning, sending his opponent down several times shortly before forcing an injury in his right hand in the second round. Malik seemed out of context with a sharp pain, but his quest for a national title was evident as he pushed on until the fourth round. His retirement at this point secured Tugume his second win in 2 fights in the professional ranks.
My game was counter-attacking Tugume in the 3rd and 4th round. Yes, so in the 5th round, I was finishing him off. That was my plan. But I got an arm dislocation, as you can see.
It's not looked injured, it's a serious injury. The shoulder is go out. 4 times, go out. So this is only for luck.
A week ago, I called the federation. I wanted to stop the fight because he got injured. But Dr. Antege, who's a professional doctor of sports for the last 23 years, he took x-rays and he gave him a go-ahead.
Tugume is however blaming his opponent for delaying the fight, claiming an injury to buy time to rest and avoid his punches.
Even if the arm wasn't to get injury, I've been taking him at least. I was about to throw him down, so I think he used that technique.
Uganda Kickboxing Federation is to lobby for Tugume fights from within the continent before venturing in Europe for a world title. Alfred Odong, NTV Sport.
The 2012 Pool Queen Challenge gets underway at Mumas in Kampala tomorrow, with the women looking to accumulate ranking points as well as aiming at securing slots in the national team. Excelling players are to earn cash prizes, while the national pool governing body are in a popularization campaign by seeking entries from upcountry for the annual competition.
This year's Pool Queen competition is expected to attract a record participants as players seek to better their seedings as well as make the national team. The one-day event to be held at Lumas at Old Kampala will have Jacinta Kajubi facing a huge challenge of defending her title. She defeated Sophie Nalukwago 4-0 in the best of 7 final last year, but may face a tough time if the expected 100 turn up for the knockout championship.
And of course, the winner will walk away with a crown of being the pool queen in the country, with the cash prize of with the trophy. She will walk away with a crown, a trophy, and a cash prize of 500,000 shillings.
Cynthia Asio, NTV Sport.
Now, a first-year student at the Kampala International University, Annette Negesa, has everything it takes to make it to the women's 800-meter finals at the London Olympics. At 20 years, that will be no mean achievement for an athlete who is only making her debut at the prestigious quadrennial event. Joel Kamadi caught up with her earlier this week as she tells us about her preparations ahead of the London 2012 Olympic Games, now only 13 days away. Here is this week's Olympic profile feature.
20-year-old Annette Negesa is Uganda's most exciting sporting prospect in the women's 800 meters. The humble star that is ranked 17th in the world junior rankings is working hard to make a name for herself as a senior competitor in the coming 2012 London Olympics. She got into professional athletics in 2010 when she led Uganda in the 1,500 meters in Dar es Salaam. Negesa came into the limelight in the 2011 African Junior Championships when she scooped 2 gold medals in both the 800 and 1,500 meters, a feat that enabled her to be named 2011 Athlete of the Year by the Uganda Athletics Federation.
Last year, I think, as I went for African Junior, where I ran in 800 meters and 1,500, and I got 2 gold medals, one in 800, one in 1,500. And as I came up, I went to England where I ran a good time.
The middle distance runner initially had her interest in football and netball and never really had athletics in mind. However, after being inspired by watching 2006 Commonwealth gold medalist Dorcas Nzikuru and 800 meters Olympic champion Pamela Jelimo, her priorities took a turn for the positive, with the inspiration playing its part.
There are some other sports I was doing, and as I was doing football and netball, but as I went on, I went with the interest of athletics, whereby I'm taking off with my career. Watching people were running, I was watching Dorcas Nzikuru, as I was even watching those strong athletes like Pamela Jelimo, Janice Chepkosgei, and it gave me also interest. I trained her so that I'd be like them as they were doing.
She believes that her poor performance in last year's Senior Country Championships will not affect her chances in the Olympics, looking for the kind of form that won her the heats in Daegu last year.
It affected me so much because I wasn't very happy, as I didn't enter in a gold bracket. It wasn't so good on my side. But I go inside as I come back. I need to work hard. I train hard so that I polish up my training. And I get good preparation for my Olympics.
Training almost exclusively on her own at the Nambola Stadium, Negesa is headed for the London Olympics with a standing national record of 1 minute 59 seconds. And though it may seem like a mountain to climb, she is optimistic on setting a new record.
I think the best time is 1:56, and I think by me to make that time, I think it will not be a big problem for me, but just giving it time and not to know everything needs to be patient, because when you be there without patience, you may end out without achieving what you are looking for.
Very impressive athlete there. We do wish her all the best at the London 2012 Olympic Games. Now we'll take another short break. Coming up in a few moments are your comments from the NTV Weekend poll.
This is NTV.
No one feels the motherland like we do. So tune in every day at 6 p.m. and Fridays from 11 p.m. for the best in homegrown music. Only on NTV, the station that celebrates local music talent.
To wind up tonight's newscast, we remind you about our poll question, and we asked, do you support the planned teachers' strike that's going to be taking place on Monday and Tuesday? Thank you so much for all your responses. I'll quickly read out a few of them right now. We have Rosette in Chambogo saying yes, she does support the teachers' strike. Teachers are paid very little money, regardless of the hardships they experience. And Darius Katinisa in Rukunji is saying yes, I support teachers because the government has forgotten them, yet they do a lot of work compared to state workers. And finally, Bagonza of Kasese also saying yes, I support them. They are taken for granted. MPs should sacrifice part of their pay if they can't push for their raise. Thank you so much for all your responses to tonight's NTV poll, and that brings tonight's newscast to a close. Thank you so much for taking the time to be a part of NTV Weekend Edition. I will be back tomorrow same time, so do keep it here with NTV. For now, I am Rachel Arinitwe, wishing you a lovely night.
NTV.
To be honest, it's one of the most scary genres of music for me.